Hi, I'm Rhonda, Bonnie's daughter, and it's so wonderful to celebrate her life with all of you. She did not like to be the center of attention and would be completely overwhelmed with your presence here today. I didn't realize what an amazing mom she was until I was an adult. She always supported whatever interests Aaron and I had. She was the taxi mom who took us to all our activities: soccer, basketball, gymnastics, volleyball, horseback riding, art lessons, piano lessons, and Girl Scouts. She was also our family historian and a phenomenal party planner: birthday parties, annual Christmas parties, church celebrations. They were always thoughtful and fun. When I first learned to drive in Los Angeles, my social worker mom had very memorable advice for me. I memorized it word for word. Keep your doors locked. Keep your windows rolled up. Don't look at anyone. They might shoot you. Otherwise, have a good time. One of the best lessons that my mom taught me early on was not to quit. My mom played the piano for her pleasure and for Trinity Church worship music. She had a beautiful baby grand piano in the living room. When I was 10 years old, I told my mom I wanted to learn to play the piano. She said, "You will have to commit to 2 years of lessons and you can't quit." I said, "Okay." Well, no one told me that I would make mistakes during practice. I was quite perfectionistic and I hated making mistakes. I thought I should be able to play perfectly from the beginning. So I struggled miserably for 2 years learning to play the piano. I had 1 or 2 recitals that my family attended. My mom reminded me that when those 2 years had passed, to the day I started, I closed the piano key lid and never looked back. I never quit. That lesson became a pillar for me throughout life as I tried new things and persevered when I wanted to give up. When things seemed impossible and I was tired, frustrated, and just didn't care anymore, I didn't give up. Thank you, Mom. While being a wife, a mother, and a social worker for Los Angeles County, my mom chose to go back to school for her Master of Social Work degree from USC. I recently found her diploma and would like to read some of her application essay from 1988. I think this gives a powerful picture of how my mom perceived herself. I don't think anyone has ever heard this, and it's probably one of the only times that she had to write about herself. These are my mom's words from her essay. A graduate education would open many opportunities related to child welfare that are now closed to me, such as medical social work, pilot projects, and research on parenting. It is time to make major career changes and decisions, especially as I plan to remain active in the child welfare field. As a middle child of 5 children whose parents were first-generation immigrants from China, expectations for me were somewhat different in comparison to what was occurring in a typical American family. My father believed that a child's purpose on this earth was to work into labor. School was not a priority. Directly after school, my siblings and I were required to work daily in the family laundry until it was time to go home, usually around 10 to 11 p.m. We had restricted after-school activities and limited friendships. However, we were allowed to attend Sunday school through a very conservative Chinese church, Church of the Nazarene. In retrospect, the Church of the Nazarene values and beliefs were the basis of how I interpreted my life in America. I am a born-again Christian, as is my husband. We are raising our 2 children in Christian attitude and beliefs. My husband of 16 years, Dad, she's writing about you, so pay attention, has been a major influence on my perceptions about life and myself. He's taught me to be more analytical of my actions and to be more patient in decision making. He in turn has taught me that he has told me that I have taught him to be empathetic and understanding of the actions of other people. I feel I possess the following qualities that will help me in the graduate school work program. I am highly organized, at times compulsive, a good listener, objective, empathetic, supportive, a problem solver, independent, direct, and honest. I've chosen the part-time day program because this schedule would be less stressful and traumatic to myself as well as my family. Although my family is very supportive of my interest for further schooling, the obligations as a wife and mother remain the highest priority. Being home in the evening with family is important and crucial. The need to debrief at the end of day and prepare for the next day helps with the family's mental health and continued cohesion. Both children, ages 13 and 10, are involved in school, church, and outside activities. Quality time by parents is needed to participate in our children's activities. Based on my transcripts, I will not graduate at the top of my class. Much has to do with never learning proper and effective study habits as a child. I ironed about 24 to 30 shirts per hour in the family laundry. My textbook was usually propped up on the commercial ironing board so I could catch a glimpse at brief intervals during ironing. I'm a better student than my grades reflect. I am able and capable of performing well and learning well. I listen and enjoy being exposed to others' thoughts and ideas, and do make an earnest effort to apply and share what I learn. Those words from my mom's essay helped her get accepted into USC's program and graduated with her MSW in 1991. She wanted to expand her mind and career opportunities, but she was very thoughtful of her family. She was competent, compassionate, and committed to a life of service and helping others. Mom showed love through her acts of service, gifts, and quality time. She kept herself busy in the best way. If she made time for you, if she gave you a gift, if she did something for you, it was because she loved you. Mom was a very creative person. She sewed countless handmade costumes for Aaron and me, like Tweety Bird, Raggedy Ann, and Pink Panther. She also sewed me beautiful custom dresses for special occasions. When she retired, her sewing talent became the driving force behind her quilt making. She also learned how to make and glaze pottery, decorated with unique designs and messages of faith and encouragement. She made so many pieces that she loved to give away. This was one way she blessed others. She was so happy when one of her pieces brought joy to someone. Okay, time for some audience participation. If you have any of her artistic creations, a quilt, a ceramic piece, or something else, would you please raise your hand? I don't think Mom realized that her art would be part of her legacy. Mom was a doer for most of her life, and she got stuff done. Whether she was planning birthday parties, coordinating church meetings and events, or training foster parents for Los Angeles County, she did it, and she did it well. People were drawn to her for her leadership, her competency, and her talent. They wanted her to lead, to mentor, to execute, and she did. She was thoughtful, creative, and willing to take risks. She was organized, strategic, and she took great pride in her work, whether paid or volunteer. She loved others through doing. She was the hands and feet of Jesus. She would go and she would do. When a series of health issues hit, she couldn't do as much anymore. This forced slowdown was very painful for her. She hated it, and she really struggled, but she also blossomed. I listened to her ask God many times, what are my next steps? What do I do now? During one of our chats, I could feel that God had a special message for her. He said, Mom, I think this is God's answer to your question. You're not supposed to do anymore. You are supposed to be. She was quiet as she thought about those words she had never heard before. I repeated them again. You're not supposed to do anymore. You are supposed to be. She nodded her head and said, I've never thought of that before. Now she would be God's ears and mouth. She would listen, encourage, and pray. She became more physically limited. She lost more independence, and she couldn't go out and serve others as she had done her entire life. She couldn't do anymore. She couldn't go to others anymore. Then a beautiful transformation happened. People came to her. I have never seen so many people come to her as I have in the last couple of years. In the later years of her life, she learned to be present with others, to listen, and to share without having to do. It was a higher level of connection she experienced with others, with many of you. For most of her life, my mom was a very private person. She didn't have a lot of close friends with whom she could be vulnerable and share her deepest thoughts. God slowly softened her heart to trust others, starting with other women who looked to her as a second mother, and she considered them her daughters. If you are one of those daughters, you also blessed her. She touched so many lives, experienced, especially in her later years. In whatever ways she influenced your life, remember her for those impactful moments and experiences, and share those with others. Share them today with the others at your table. That is her legacy. During the past few years, my mom became my amazing friend. I connected with her in the best way, and we bonded like I never imagined. We were raw, genuine, reflective, and unapologetic. We could talk about anything. I always felt her love and support to be me and do what makes me happy. Mom, you are home with Jesus, at peace without pain. You have touched the lives of everyone here. Well done, good and faithful servant. We'll miss you dearly and remember you joyfully. We love you always.